Shit.
Welcome to Wrasslin, Chatty Bobby. Welcome to Wrasslin with Big E and the POT. Podcast tag champs of the whole world, slamming like a DDT. Got it like just like a figure four. Hulk Hogan, all they do is flex. Talking wrestling while they get the dough. Off the top like a superplex. Think they letting up? Hell no. Dusty Rose with the elbow. From the corner like a stinger splash straight to the face. I know you felt those. Hey, y'all crying out for help though. Rising up like the dead man. About to go upside your head like Stone Cold with the bedpan. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrestling's where you need to be. Chatty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrestling's where you need to be. Chatty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to Wrestling with them Wrestling Boys. I'm the POT, alongside my tag team partner Big E, and we're here to bring you another episode of premium wrestling content. What's going on, brother?
Moment of silence for the best-looking man on the face of this earth.
What do you say, brother? Hey, man, welcome to Wrasslin, man. We back, episode 74. And I know what you're going to say. The Hall of Famer. The Hall of Famer.
Jason
The Hall of
King.
Famer himself.
The Hall of Famer.
Hey.
Jason King. The Hall of Famer.
Whole kingdom. All right. Roll Tide. Hey, we back, man. It's episode 74 and it's Welcome to Wrasslin. And before we move on to anything else, ladies and gentlemen, we've got merch.
Hey.
Go visit Pro Wrestling Tees / Welcome to Wrasslin. We got us a new logo, new shirts, new merch. Feeling good. Yeah, man. Tell them, buy the shirt.
Buy the shirt.
Oh, man. What's going on, man?
Not much, brother.
Hey, man. Let's talk some wrestling. Hey, man. We back, man. Welcome to Wrasslin, man. Episode 74, man. Let's jump into it and talk a little bit of wrestling because it's Welcome to Wrasslin. Hey, man. Let's talk about these wrestling reaction channels getting shut down by WWE. A lot of stuff being said about wrestling podcasters and podcasters in general, and actually being talked about by guys in the business, and but also, you know, it has somewhat it has to do with these reaction channels getting shut down, and a lot of these guys were going viral, man, and had all kind of followers, and you know, to be honest with you, it is kind of weird to watch somebody watch wrestling. You know what I mean? And I can see where people would have a issue with that. Also, to me, just to give you a little bit how I look at it, it's almost like a highlight reel. If you miss something, if you didn't get to see something, you know, and those things pop up on your feed, on your Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, or whatever, you know, it's almost like you're getting filled in. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely.
And especially with nowadays, I mean, it's almost impossible to watch everything that's going on in wrestling. It's almost impossible. So, to me, I kind of dug them a little bit. Plus, the all these reactions and stuff is cool to me. I like to see people that see stuff for the first time. You know, it's kind of catchy every once in a while. Some of them guys I do not like. You know, one guy, I ain't gonna mention no names, but there's one gentleman in particular that it was always, I told you it was gonna happen. You know, it's basically him bragging about himself the whole time that he knows everything that's gonna happen in the wrestling business. You know what I mean? So you can see where people will have an issue with that or whatnot. Just tell me what you think about WWE shutting these guys down, and think about this. For the last couple of years, they've been using reaction footage for different things that have happened, debuts, or the AJ Styles making his debut at the Rumble. They had that all over WWE YouTube and stuff of different reactions from different people, But now all of a sudden we're under a new regime, the TKO regime, and they're not digging that. And they have been shutting them down left and right. I want to hear your thoughts about it.
I think it's a damn shame. What is the issue with the reaction videos? I can't think of any issue at all. They wrestle for the fans. What's wrong with showing fans reacting a certain way? I don't get it. I don't understand what's the problem with it. Why would they shut down? I mean, now the whole podcast thing and all that, which we'll go down that road in a second with our opinions on that. But even just with the reaction videos, I don't see what's the problem with that, because there's always a reaction to everything. Everything in life that happens has a reaction, good or bad. There's a reaction. That's all a part of it. I don't get the whole, and then like you said, they even use those reaction videos in the past for their benefit. So now this is obviously a TKO thing. I don't know what's their problem with that, but they've been making a lot of changes to this company that all they know how to do is make profit, more profit, more profit, which I understand as far as a business, you in the business to make money. I understand that. However, we talked about how they outprice the regular people, whether it's ticket prices to house shows or regular shows, Raw and SmackDown that come in town, and the PLEs, or the Netflix, the ESPN, how they took away the network. Everything is about the money with them. How they allegedly cutting the salaries of quite a few of the talent. It's all about more profit, more profit, more profit. Does it make the product better? Well, that's debatable. I don't see, because then now we're talking about creative, which has nothing to do with their profit margin. But even with these reaction videos, I just think it's just another way for TKO to put their hand in everything and manipulating the process of or really putting a stain on a relationship between the fan and the company in itself.
Right. To me, it seems like you would want something like that. It's more eyes to your product. Somebody just happens to come across the feed and see that, well, I really want to check that out. And so you tune in on Netflix, and that's a viewer you didn't have before they watched the reaction video. And to me, you would think if they're all about making money, then another viewer is a positive.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, as far as their aspect of it, I don't see what's the problem. I don't understand. Maybe I'm missing something here, but I don't get how shutting down reaction videos is benefiting TKO and the WWE. And I don't, and also to your point, that would help them seem like get more eyes on the product. Because if you look at a short or a reaction video, let's say you missed Backlash and you saw the reaction video from the Danhausen thing, you like, okay, well, hey, maybe I need to check this out. You know what I mean?
That was very entertaining.
Right.
Check it out. Yeah.
I don't get it.
I'm just gonna tell you like this, man. You can only shit on the fans for so long. you can only shit on the fans for so long. Wrestling fans, man, are passionate. Wrestling fans, we love the sport of professional wrestling. That's why we're sitting here talking about it. But you can only shit on the fans for so long before one by one start taking a stand and start watching something else, because you're making it too difficult to go to the live events. And now they start to do house shows again. They just released the house show schedule.
The summer tour.
Right. So, which is good for the workers.
For talent, absolutely.
Absolutely, because, you know, if you got a story going on and you're sitting here and you just guys are just wrestling on Mondays, just seeing each other every Monday, you see each other on these house shows and you're working and you come up with different stuff that works and the crowd reacts to, well, we can use that on TV.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't understand the aspect of that either. But I mean, clearly they brought him back for a reason. But yeah.
And you also got to think the timing of it, because now they have a lot of call-ups from NXT. You know, you had the Ricky Saints, the Ethan Pages, of course, the Javon Evans, the Obafemis, the Trick Williams, you know, and that's just to name a few. Let's not even go down to the women's roster with all the new call-ups they have on that end of the spectrum as well. So yeah, now they've been in NXT, they've been working, you know, but now they working on the main roster with some new opponents and stuff, you know, and also, you know, they getting more reps. So
Right.
I understand from a talent perspective, they probably was glad they didn't have to do the house shows, and their schedule is really, and I hate to go down this road again because I know we're not workers in the business. However, I'm pretty sure the old timers will tell you, you know, you it's almost like when our parents told us back when we was growing up, you know, I used to walk 3 miles to school in the snow and all these other crazy stories they used to tell us about. And we're like, really? You know, but it's like they tell their stories like, you know, I wrestled 7 days a week, twice on Sundays.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, they hitting the road, but also the thing that they're missing, yeah, they're not beating their bodies up as much as the old timers was, but they also wasn't practicing their craft as much either. So the quality of the matches and what they were trying to do back then, to your point earlier, maybe something worked on a Tuesday night in Macon, Georgia, that they can use for Friday Night SmackDown in Atlanta, Georgia.
Right. And you talk about the old timers and working them towns back then, they would be in the same town for a whole week, working in front of the same crowd, doing the same thing. So you had to make it entertaining. You had to come up with different stuff every night, because you couldn't just do the same match every night. The people aren't going to show up.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I don't know. I think, you know, they're opening their eyes on one category and closing them on 4 more. You know, and you talk about the pay cuts. There was an article out this week, not mentioning any names, but a lot of people had to take that pay cut to keep their jobs, and quite a few took them. You know what I mean? So, and clearly you see the ones that didn't. You know, you had some releases, but you also had some people that didn't want to accept the pay cut, like the New Day. So, and I tell you what, and we talked about it last week, but I'm excited to see what they do, where they go, what kind of names are going to be used. I think Kofi is just going to go with Kofi by itself, and Xavier Woods go back to being Austin Creed.
Austin Creed, yeah, I pretty much expected that. Yeah.
Yeah. What was he in TNA? It was Consequences Creed, right?
Yeah, he's come out there with them Apollo Creed shorts on.
Red, white,
yeah.
Yeah. But it's funny how you think that, and then you sit there and realize that Xavier Woods have been there for 16 years. It don't even feel like that, you know. And
right.
You know, so But we'll see, man. I'm excited to see if they hit the Indies or if they go to TNA or AEW. AEW's got a stupid tag team division, so um, maybe we'll get to see the Bucks and Kofi and Woods go at it. We'll see. We will see. Let's talk about the podcasting industry and the podcasters getting shitted on by the boys who do podcasts because we've never been in the business. And Vince Russo, and I got mixed feelings about Vince Russo anyway, bro. But he said, and this is him, almost a direct quote. He loves baseball, but he would never do a podcast about baseball because he was never a baseball player. And that just doesn't make sense to me. That's just it's just a personal opinion, if you ask me, against himself. Because if you look at it, a lot of sportscasters and stuff, they were never professional athletes. You got a lot of coaches that were never professional athletes. Doesn't mean you can't coach the game. Doesn't mean you don't know the game. And it definitely doesn't mean you're not passionate about it if you didn't play it, or but we say all the time on here, we know we're not in the business. We know we're not workers. We know that, but we love to voice our opinion. We love to talk about wrestling, so at the end of the day, it's like, why are y'all hating on the fans so much? Why are you hating on the fans so much? They want to be, to me, wow, I would be obliged if I was a pro wrestler and all these people want to talk about wrestling. Every podcast ain't good. Every podcast is not entertaining. Everybody don't know what the fuck they talking about. Hell, half the time we might not know what the fuck we talking about. But we enjoy doing it. Yeah. And what the hell is wrong with it? And at the end of the day, eat a dick for being like that. And then he was talking to Hannibal, and I'm sure not everybody listening, or a lot of people, big wrestling fans, know Hannibal because of the shoot interviews, when they started doing the shoot interviews. And if you weren't paying these guys, half of them guys wouldn't have been on your thing anyway. I mean, let's just be real, because Hannibal, the only way he got viewers was because of the shoot interviews, because he's hard to listen to. Yeah, the dude sound like he's got to be politically correct here and not use the R word. You know what I'm saying? But he sounds slow to me. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, you got a lot of nerve, dog. You got a lot of nerve to speak like that. If there's no fans participating, you ain't getting paid shit. You ain't gonna get paid and get wrestling in front of nobody. It's not COVID anymore. You know what I'm saying? Without us, there is no wrestling business. Am I right? Am I wrong for saying that?
No. So again, I see both sides of it. Obviously, again, we're not workers and stuff, but I can understand, and we're not saying they all feel this way, but I can see how, especially the old timers, may feel that way because of, especially a lot of the stories they tell was back when kayfabe was real. And no, we don't know what it's like riding in them cars up and down the road in 3 feet of snow, and you hear all these stories behind the scenes, and I get it. I get it. I get it. I can understand why a few may feel that way. But to your point, the fans is what makes this business go round and round. Yeah, they was driving up and down them roads, but they was going to these different cities to see these fans. That's why kayfabe was real to them. Damn it. Yes, they might be in a feud with their best friend, but they wasn't riding up and down the road with them back then. They wouldn't be caught dead seen with this person at the Hartsfield Jackson Airport.
Right.
When they had a blood feud going on, and or they see somebody in the bar, and because it was fake wrestling, some guy want to try Ming, which is a huge mistake at the bar, and then he put the tongue of death grip and ripped the throat out for real.
Right. Right.
So I mean, I get it, but on the flip side, like you said earlier, now we're talking about a podcast, but what about a Stephen A. Smith? Yeah, he was a beat writer, but he didn't play professional basketball. Like a lot of these sports cashing out, don't get me wrong, there are a lot that did play. But you think about even all the way back in the day when it was Sports Center, when that was really the thing, Stuart Scott, them guys were professional athletes.
Right. And they were RIP Stuart Scott, man. He was one of the
Right.
best.
Right. Wu-Tang on steroids.
Yeah.
But the point is, like you said earlier, you don't have to be like a professional athlete or work in that business to have a strong opinion. Plus, their opinion, just because you wrestle in the business don't mean your opinion's right either. Yeah, you could talk about me riding up and down the road sitting next to Harley Race, but a lot of their opinions now, they talk about the current product because it's not the way it was when they wrestled driving up and down that road, and they shit on everything now. But that, who cares? Because that's, just because it's not the way you want it to be, that's irrelevant because the business has evolved and it's going to continue to evolve. And all that old school mentality is not going to get you nowhere. You still going to be going to the Comic Cons and all that. And God bless you because we love those guys. Yeah, we go get our autograph signings or whatever the case may be. And there will always be a market for the old school wrestlers. But the bitter guys, the ones who talk shit. And then somebody like Vince Russo, I respect who he is, who he was in the wrestling business, him being a writer, especially in the Monday Night Wars. But Vince Russo also is a person who ruffled a lot of feathers, rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and a lot of the old school wrestlers talk shit about this man because they can't stand him.
Right. And that's another thing. That's another thing about Russo is, you catch Russo on a bad day. I don't care about the wrestling business. I don't watch anything, but you're always talking about it. And you even got yourself on Dark. You had to call Dark Side of the Ring to let you in on it because you just had to be on the Montreal Screwjob one so bad. You weren't even invited to be on there. And then come out there and try to, he basically tried to say he came up with it. Him and Cornette going back and forth. They hate each other. Him and Cornette back and forth with the no, it was my idea. No, I never heard him say that, this, and this. And when you got 3, 4, 5 people that knew about it, and they've all said, well, Triple H was the one said, well, if he doesn't want to do business, then you do it for him. You know what I'm saying? Now, whoever came up with the plan, now that's a totally different story.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you're finally, you're back working for JCW, the Juggalo Championship Wrestling with ICP.
Insane.
Yeah. And shout out to you for being a part of something and getting to do that. And then you got your Vince Russo, the Russo brand or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But don't start talking shit now that you finally got back because you've been begging for a job at WWE since forever. Just let me do this, bro. Just let me do that, bro. Let me tell you the stories, bro. Man, come on, man. Every storyline doesn't work out like you think it's going to. And if you look at those older WCW days right before the end, a bunch of that was crap. And the only reason you were watching it because you were a diehard WCW fan. But putting Judy Bagwell on a forklift, you know what I'm saying? That's just stupid.
Well, let's not even get started with Vince Russo and the booking he did in WCW. David Arquette,
But it's
Dewey.
almost like he came to sabotage WCW. Is what it
Yeah,
was. That's almost what
yeah.
it feels like. You know, so
What,
you want to be conspiracy theory or whatever, but it's almost like he came to sabotage the shit.
well, this tell me think of how out of touch to me he is. Recently, when they was talking, when it was the Oba Femi Brock Lesnar build up for WrestleMania, and you know, I get the whole old school approach. He was saying that they built it all wrong, and Brock was supposed to get over on Oba, and you know, because Oba's the face, and you know, I get that old school mentality, but at the same time, this is a new, different day and age, and plus, obviously, the way they booked it, it clearly worked because Oba is the most over wrestler on the roster right
Yeah.
now, and that
And
includes Trick Williams, Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, and CM Punk, and whoever the hell else you want to include, Jey Uso, whoever else you want to include in that bag.
we all and me and you even both thought, well, maybe Lesnar's going through all this, he's gonna win. But
Right,
we had no idea what was going on backstage, so it was all booked like it was supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? The man retired, so
right,
and you talking about it was all done wrong, but you didn't know the details either. You're just
right.
assuming, just like we are. You know what I'm
But
saying?
look
But
at the crowd reaction, though.
right, but also look at where the story went to.
Right,
So no wonder. So yeah, they was doing it right all along. We just didn't know what the hell was going on.
right,
And neither does he. So, you know, I'm just, you know, listen. The guy was somewhat entertaining. I hated the stuff he did against Flair. You know, I just thought it was some of that stuff was just, you know, past disrespectful. You know, but I get it. You know what I mean? The stuff at the bash at the beach and the, you know, Jeff Jarrett laying down, and, you know, at the end of the day, man, you can hate on Hulk Hogan back in the day all you wanted. The man still drew money and people were still there to see him. And he still was evolving. He was doing the FU New Blood. They did that Billionaires Club when he was coming out different, you know, with the biker outfits and stuff. Like, you know, you can shit on Hulk Hogan all you want as far as, and we're just strictly talking about wrestling. We're not talking about anything else. We're talking about wrestling. But the man kept up just like everybody else did. And he didn't have to do this and he didn't have to do that. And he's had better matches and won the crowd over than half the people ever have in the whole business, even at an age where he couldn't do much. Yeah, they fell out with him at the end. Yeah, he said some stupid shit, but he's still Hulk Hogan. And as far as the wrestling business goes, and like Triple H said on the documentary, he has an argument. If there's no Hulk Hogan, then none of us are sitting here doing this shit.
right.
You know? So, but yeah. Hey man, I don't want to sit here and get pissed off and just and dog Vince Russo or that dumbass Hannibal. I'm definitely not a Hannibal fan. I think Hannibal sounds like he's been hit in the head 86,000 times, man. He sounds like somebody just fried in the brain and can't put sentences together, you know. And he's a mark like the rest of us, because if you go back to the shoot interviews, they're asking the same damn questions.
Yeah.
What do you think? And it's like you don't even have a personality.
I mean, my thing with that guy, you know, ain't granted he did work in the business, so I mean, give him credit for that. But at the
But you
same
wouldn't know him. You
time,
wouldn't know him if he didn't do the shoot interviews, though.
Right, but he
wouldn't
did. But
know
he
who
did.
the hell Animal was if he wasn't doing a
Yeah,
shooting.
that's true. That's true, especially in far as his craft as wrestling. But
Right.
credit him, he did shoot interviews. He is known for that for whatever. He's like Vlad TV or something.
Yeah.
However, he's another one of those guys though that seems bitter, probably because he didn't make it.
Right.
Because I heard he was close. He had tryouts and stuff, and it didn't work out for him. So now I just kind of feel like he's another one of those bitter guys that
Yeah.
because
You can't put that man on TV and tell him to cut a promo, and 5 minutes later he said 8 words.
yeah,
You know?
well, I just think of like even now when he do a Facebook Live or something, all he do is shit on the product. It doesn't matter how
Yeah.
good it is, how bad it is, or what the public will say.
Dude, he's just
He
like
will
a casual
always,
fan
yeah,
now.
yeah, he just have a negative outlook on the product. And I'm tired of hearing those kind of guys. Those are the guys to me that shouldn't have a damn podcast. The ones
Right.
who are always, and again, everybody entitled to their opinion, so do what you do. But I really get tired of listening to these guys. Everything I know everything's not going to be good. We know that. What if it's WWE, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, or whatever it is, AEW, Dynamite or Collision, or TNA, it doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
everything's not going to be good. Everything that's going to be bad. But some of those guys, all their content is something negative.
Right.
Everything is negative. Even if it was a great match, they find some reason
Right.
why it was negative. Oh
One of
yeah,
the
well they shouldn't have go through the table and they
right.
jumped off the ladder too many times.
They didn't
Uh,
have
you
to
know,
do that. They didn't have to
too
do that.
many near falls.
Right.
Or they
One of
kicked
the,
out of so and so finisher.
one of the rhinestones came off of his trunks. You know.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, man. But the shoot interviews just make me think about the documentaries. And nobody does wrestling documentaries like WWE. I watched the on the A&E, the WWE Legends. They got a new Four Horsemen documentary out. So check that. I got to watch it again, man, because I was watching it, but I wasn't watching it because stuff going on, so I got to watch it again. But I wasn't keeping up. They got one on there. Another Von Erich went on there. They got
I
a
heard about the Von Erich one.
Yeah, they got a Von Erich one on ID Discovery on what's it called? Hollywood Demons.
Ooh.
They talked a lot about the movie and how everybody was, Lacey Von Erich was on there, and she was like, they said they did everything about her dad, but never showed his daughters, never showed his wife, and they say he was a huge family guy. You know what I'm saying? It was just all about his family when they came, all about his little girls and stuff. And what I didn't know was the reason they had to amputate his foot is because he went back too soon, got back in the ring too soon. Like they didn't amputate his foot immediately.
Oh.
Okay. And in the movie, they made it look like that, but I knew it was a couple of surgeries. But what it was is he came back too early in the ring and got hurt again, and that's when they had to amputate it. And of course, this was in the 80s too, so it wasn't like it is now with all the technology and all the in the medical field, And just like HBK with his new documentary, which is great, I thought. But he was also talking about when he first hurt his knee, they didn't have Dr. Andrews back then, and you had to go to this person, then you went to that person, then you go see your own doctor, and so. But in speaking of wrestling documentaries, I wanted to give a shout out, man, to Barry Blostein. I hope I said his name right, but he was the He's the one that made Beyond the Mat. He passed away this past week. And yeah, man. So R.I.P. to Barry, man. And I want to talk Beyond the Mat for a minute while we're talking about shoot interviews and documentaries and stuff. When I think of wrestling documentaries, that's one of the first ones I think about. Because it was really one of the first ones that you saw. And then it was in
detail,
yeah, man. And it was in the theater, but what an eye opener it was. It was almost like watching The Wrestler for a little bit, because when that came out, I think we were like 18 or 19 years old. So we had no idea that these wrestlers were showing up at these little rinky-dink conventions and trying to sell their video VHS tapes, and DVDs ain't even out yet. You know what I'm saying? Trying to still sell their tapes. And I remember on The Wrestler when the guy had the kidney bag, you know what I'm saying, and the bag or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Using the bathroom in the bag and stuff. And, your boy Randy the Ram was just looking around like he was over there with them old timers, but he felt like he could still go. But it really, really, Beyond the Mat really painted the nasty picture of how quick you can fall off in the wrestling business with the Jake the Snake stuff, man. That, and we didn't know nothing about no Jake. There wasn't no, it's kind of an internet at this time,
right?
But you're not using it like that, not like we do now,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So, but Jake the Snake was wheeling and dealing to wrestle for crack,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So, bro, it was so eye opening. What do you remember about the dance? Sounded like your boy Malcolm just then. What do you remember about Beyond the Mat? What comes to mind?
I think about Mick Foley.
Yeah.
And his interaction with The Rock when they had the I Quit match at Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
And of course they showed
what year was that?
What year was that? It was 99. Yeah. And but I just remember with him and Stone Cold walked up to him like, "Hey, here's kids, my daughters are here," just seeing the interaction.
Yeah.
Right. And then
how are you feeling? I'm not feeling very well.
Yeah, he was like, if I see Rocky right now, I swear I kill him. All those chair shots and stuff. And that was kind of like what really stood out to me that I can remember. I haven't watched it in a while, but of course, obviously the Jake Roberts stuff was very sad and eye-opening. But but like you said, we never really seen something of documentary with footage like that kind of really pulled the curtain back, especially from that perspective. And like you said, we seeing guys like Jake Roberts, who was on top, not top guy, but one of the biggest superstars from the golden era, their generation, and seeing them like just barely getting by, and like you said, this dude was working for crack.
Yeah, man.
And then you learned his relationship with his kids and his
daughter.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah. And then you found out about his past and about all the trauma that his family came up in.
Yeah.
About his dad, raping the daughter of the lady he was dating, and that's how he was born.
Right.
Their sister got killed. Their stepdad, who he was close to, got electrocuted in the what do you say, the attic?
Yeah, and plus his dad was grizzly.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, like somebody who was a major figure, Bill Watts' right-hand man, Mid-South Wrestling and all this other stuff,
Right. And did some stuff in WWE and WCW.
Right.
You know,
Right.
with the talent and stuff like that, kind of like an agent. But you would think that there would be some, because they weren't even close then.
Right.
You know, they were there and they weren't even talking to each other, you know. But he did say he was proud of him and everything. But I mean, without winning the world title, like Jake the Snake went as far as you could go without winning the title. You know
Well,
what I'm
it's a
saying?
lot of guys in that era. We can do a whole episode on guys who this era probably would have been world at least one title reign
Yeah,
that they just came up in the wrong era.
right. It's hard to be
You
the champ,
know,
but somebody's got the belt for 5 years.
right?
You know,
I kind of compare
your
that to,
prime can pass you by in 5 years.
I kind of compare that to like back when, certain like Jordan era when there's
Yeah.
guys like Patrick Ewing and Charles Barkley and Gary Payton and Clyde Drexler and, guys who were greats that didn't win world championships because there
Gary
was a
Payton got
team.
a title with the Lakers.
Well,
Didn't they get one with the Lakers?
no, they lost because him and Karl Malone was on that team that lost to Detroit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but
Almost.
but still,
dang.
yeah. Nah, you forgot who you fucking with.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you done forgot. Big Mel already done peaked it now.
Hey, let's don't get personal now. I can really
but still though, to that point though, it's guys like Kurt Hennig, who I mean, a lot of people don't really count the AWA, especially of that era. Now, as Nick Botwinkle and Vern Gagne, hell yeah, they were world champions, but they don't. When they talk Kurt Hennig, since he didn't win by that era, it was more of a WCW, WWF, where they count the world titles.
Yeah.
He had
the U.S. title and the Intercontinental title, but them guys peaked. They went to the mountaintop, but didn't have the top prize, but had Hall of Fame careers.
Right,
and that's what I was trying to get at. Like, you can't take, as far as Jake the Snake, his career back then in the 80s and 90s. You can't deny what he did. So that's what I was thinking. Like, that's what I meant also by, you outdid his dad as far as making it in the wrestling business.
Another thing about Jake Roberts, he was definitely ahead of his time too, because he was one of the first heels. And I hate to say this because I know that we started watching wrestling in the mid 80s, but even that era, he was one of the few heels that actually was like cool as far as the crowd cheered for him. That was the whole reason why he didn't have his long feud with Hogan, because they worked a few house shows and they was like, well, the crowd cheering for him or just as much they cheering for Hogan. And they was like, well, they can't do that. Even though he was working as a heel.
That's the goal.
Yeah, that was the whole reason. So he kind of missed out on money because he was so popular as a heel. But Jake the Snake was one of the first heels that had it. Now, by the time the 90s and Attitude Era came, then that was a thing, you know. But
he was in the 80s.
Right.
Yeah. And just like, it's just like David Palmer. Alabama was running the Wildcat back in '92.
Yeah. So, I mean,
I just had to throw that in there.
That's true, though.
Yeah, but it's like, and wrestling doesn't do nothing but repeat itself anyway with the storylines, and they just switch them up a little bit. Same thing with TV shows and different episodes and stuff like that. You could watch a TV show that's similar to another one, and well, that's just like this, and this. I saw something the other day with You mean, the movie The Replacements.
Right.
They were basically saying it was a copy of Necessary Roughness, just the pro version. Because you had the comeback quarterback.
Yeah.
You had the receiver that couldn't catch.
Yeah.
You had the what did he say, man? They were talking about you had the crazy one, which was the martial arts guy in Necessary Roughness, then the police officer.
Yeah.
Your boy.
Yeah.
John Favreau.
Yeah, John Favreau, right.
Yeah. And both of the kickers were soccer players.
Right.
One was a girl. And it was some other stuff too, man. But it was like, damn, that's a straight knockoff of Necessary Roughness just in the pros.
Yeah, that is true. I never thought about that.
And the coach wasn't coaching at the time. It was an old school coach that they were bringing back to fix the program.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. That
same
threw me
formula.
out.
Yeah, that's true, though. Yeah, same formula.
Recipe, just, you know what I'm saying, just with a different mix.
Right.
Yeah. But, and the offensive linemen, the brothers, they had the twins on
right.
Then they had Faison Love and your boy Goldmouth from Life.
Right.
Yeah, they were brothers. Yeah.
You want your cornbread?
Right. But hey man, Life might be one of the funniest movies ever.
That was hilarious.
Hey,
and that cast was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I always wonder how long it took to really shoot that. Like, I know they had a ball on there.
I'm the pappy.
Right. Yeah, and he was a fool in there. But the best, to me, the funniest part is in the outtakes at the end when he looks down. He said, "Wait a minute, this ain't my daddy's watch." After they done killed the sheriff and everything, this ain't my daddy's watch. Yeah, man, that's a funny movie right there. That's definitely a go-to. And when you talk about the cast is crazy. So yeah. Now we getting way off topic now, but yeah, man, I just wanted to shout out Beyond the Mat. Hey, and Beyond the Mat with Mick Foley, how you were talking about earlier. What about the wife and the kids being in the crowd and catching their reaction with all them chair shots and stuff? You know, that wasn't no acting. You know, it was very genuine. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's when he was talking about, if I seen The Rock right now, I'd probably kill him. You know, he knew what he was doing. You know what I mean? And then it showed them talking to Vince afterward. Vince was getting stitched up after his match. You know, and
remember Droz walked in there.
Yeah, he was like, "You're the effing man," you know, right in front of his and stuff. But it's like, you know, everybody back at the monitor was probably in awe of him doing all that, knowing how tough he is and stuff. And you got to come show him love. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Droz, man. What a story that is. And he was part of Beyond the Mat.
Right.
And remember, he was at first he was Puke. He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke. He's gonna puke.
It was Vince.
Right. And you remember Vince was like, "We make movies," you know. So they really let the curtain back, and it was crazy because they did some indie stuff. They had that one weird guy that was the indie promoter. I can't Rolling something, and he had Mike Modest and the other dude.
Yeah, them two guys. Yeah. And they got tryout matches. They got tryout matches.
They did a dart match.
Yeah.
And Bruce is like, Tony go out, Mike Modest goes out with music. You know what I mean?
Right.
So they were Gorilla, and that was when Cornette and them were watching. And then Vince was, it was a wrestling hold. That's nice to see for a change.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you know, it was like that guy was just taking everybody's money, and you know, it was just, you know, hey, he wasn't paying them guys when they were doing the shows and stuff. Like, they were telling it all on him for the few minutes that they were a part of the show.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And if you really think about it, like Beyond the Mat is like, that's crazy. Like
Right.
they let loose on that, and then didn't have no WCW in there. You know, it was strictly WWE and a few independents and Terry Funk and you know, they did the ECW. You remember the Paul Heyman speech? This is the dance.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, man. So yeah, man. When I think about wrestling documentaries, that's like one of the ones that comes, and another one that comes to mind is the Bret Hart.
Wrestling with Shadows.
Yeah, the Wrestling with Shadows, which is that right there is the only thing that makes me think the Montreal Screwjob might have been a work, because they had the documentary right then and there. You know what I mean? Like the crew was just filming like, is this, you know, it just right place at the right time. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that makes me think it could have been, or maybe is, or it has an argument. You know what I mean? To be a work, which I don't think it is, but that's the only thing that makes me wonder, I guess I would say.
Right. Right.
Yeah. But that the Wrestling with Shadows thing, like, I mean, it got weird. They were using hidden cameras, and then the man gets his contract pulled, and now you're gonna go to WCW, but he's the champ. Like, that's a hell of a storyline.
Right.
You know, and then going through all that stuff with HBK, and you know, he was the top heel, and now DX is starting to be the top heels, but are getting cheered. You know, so again,
even all the way to the point when they showed when they cut the promos, but the one promo ran late, so they didn't get the kick on
TV.
Raw. And
Yeah.
you know,
And then the wife going off after the screw job. Remember that?
yeah.
She was like, "You'll all go out there and just have yourself a beer and laugh about it." But like Triple H was like, "I know you're upset, but I had nothing to do with it." You know, and of course, what we know now is they were told to deny, never
Absolutely.
say,
Right.
and what you should. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Any man knows it. Deny till you die. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. I thought the Wrestling with Shadows is crazy. That's, you know, and of course all the WWE ones they've done over the years have been really good. And I know we just went to turn this whole episode into a documentary episode, but it's just been so much good stuff out over the years. And like I say, even new stuff with the Horseman, you know, and this one is like got Double A's wife in it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never seen or heard or even seen what she looked like.
Right.
You know, and Flair, Tully, you know, so but yeah, man, but the Wrestling with Shadows was the shit, and Beyond the Mat was groundbreaking. Now that you if you really think about it. You know, and you got to watch it in the movies. I know I went to the movies and saw it. I thought, you know, that was major in itself. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But before we got to wrap it up, anything you want to say before we wrap that little part up?
No. I mean, we kind of covered it all as far as talking about documentaries. I mean, we can do a deeper dive in particular documentaries, but you know, for what we're doing tonight, I don't think that's the direction we really originally were trying to go.
Yeah. But so let's talk Saturday night's main event, man. And that's definitely a hell of an idea. The next time we do a deep dive, talk about it ain't even got be our favorite, but you know, what were the best documentaries we thought? You know what I'm saying? Because man, you remember them DVDs was coming out, all of them was good. You know what I'm saying?
Even the Self-Destruction of the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, bro, that was good. They didn't do nothing but shit on that man the whole hour and 90 minutes. Hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Let's talk Saturday night's main event, man. We got 4 matches.
4 matches, and I mean, I know it's a matter of opinion, but I think as far as when they brought Saturday Night's main event, since they've been back, to me, on paper, we don't know how these matches are gonna turn out. On
But
paper, this is the weakest card that they have produced for us so far.
all right, I'm glad you said that because I didn't want to wait and talk about it to the end. To me, it doesn't even seem like it has a main event on the card. You know, it just feels like you got everything with a main event. Yeah, you know it's not going to be 6, 7 matches.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you didn't have to put the title on the line. You know, you could have had a 6-man, you could have had a whatever. You know, you're having a 6-woman, but that's not a main event. None of these matches are main event to me. You know what I'm saying? So every card should have a main event. And this just feel like they left it off. You know what I mean? So I'm right there with you. Again, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what they got in line. We don't know what kind of stories they have to tell, any surprises. But on paper, like you said, it's absolutely the weakest one since they started doing it from the origin. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's talk about it, man. Let's talk about you got Paige and Brie Bella, the women's tag team champions, and they're gonna put it on the line against Nia Jax and Lash Legend. I mean, it's cool seeing Paige and Brie back. I've always liked Nia Jax. I like any kind of wild card. You know what I mean? And she's a wild card. She liable to be great and she liable to hurt you at the same time. You know what I mean? She's just a big, athletic woman and can get in there and go and do all the stuff, and it can get a little out of hand sometimes. And I kind of dig that a little bit, you know, and I like Lash Legend. She's a monster in herself. So, but I don't see them losing the titles just yet. I want to see. I'm assuming they're going to see where it goes and see how the crowd keeps reacting to them and stuff like that. I don't know, man. I'm interested, kind of, but if I miss it, I might not rewind it unless somebody told me they killed it. You know what I mean?
I hated that Nikki Bella was injured. I'm glad Paige back. It's great seeing Paige back, but I'm having a hard time with this combination of Brie and Paige as the women's tag champions. And I definitely know that this is not going to be long term.
Right.
I almost kind of want Nikki to come back and they turn heel on Paige or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it just Paige. I don't know. It just don't seem natural. Paige and Brie being the tag champions.
Right.
I get for nostalgic purposes. You know, for what it was, her coming back at WrestleMania and Nikki was injured. But I rather it be the Bella Twins.
Yeah.
As the tag champs, and that's not to say that won't happen sometime in the future, but I don't know. But as far as the storylines, because that's one thing about the women's tag championships. It's not like the men's where they have champions on both brands.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go both sides, which I like that though. I do like the fact that they have a feud on Raw, then they'll have a feud on SmackDown, and they kind of interchange. I do love that aspect of it, but they got this thing with the Judgment Day with Roxanne and Raquel, which they have a tag title match. Matter of fact, is that coming up on Raw?
I think so.
So what's going to happen? I know anything can happen, But it's like, so are they doing like Darby Allin, where they like defend the titles every damn episode? I'm just saying. So because you notice, I know we're talking about these tag championship matches,
Yeah.
but Liv, since Stephanie's been hurt, they kind of took Liv out of the singles picture, even though she's the tag. I mean, even though she's the world champion currently.
Yeah.
So it's like she's feuding with the Bellas, sort of like,
Yeah.
but so it's like it seemed like it would make sense for maybe Liv cost Paige and Bree the tag titles, and maybe Paige and Liv can do something until Stephanie comes back. Or I mean, there's it's something that they could do. Plus, to
Right.
get Paige on, to get her little world title shot while she's returned. I don't see her winning the world title since she's back.
Yeah.
But I'm sure, just like they did with Nikki Bella, how they had her in the world title
Quickly.
contention. Yes, so I can see them doing that. But so would they do that? So would they take the titles off them on Raw, but then the fault, like 5 days later, have them go against Lash and Nia, heel versus heel?
Yeah.
I mean, not saying they won't do it, but they could do it. But then again, if they don't do it, then it's like, okay, it's almost like when Finn Balor got the world title shot at Elimination Chamber before, saying he gonna mess up the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
We knew Finn Balor wasn't gonna win that match. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah. I don't know, man. It just seems like, I don't know. I don't know. You got 2 women matches, two guy matches. You only got 1 singles match so far. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about the next one, man. You're gonna have Jada, Mincha, and B-Fab. Shout out to B-Fab. Against Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss. Jay's back. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna get her some work in on Saturday Night Main Event. They'll probably the heels will probably win that one. I can't believe they've had Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair together this long, but I think they're working on something to keep Charlotte out the title picture. Because if she's a single, she got to be in somebody's. She got to be number 1 contender for something. So I see what they're doing. Maybe that's what they're doing. To me, that's what it looks like. But like you said, on paper, man, this card ain't looking too tough.
And I heard people complain about that. Wrestling fans always complain.
Yeah.
Instead of the baddies, a lot of people feel like it should have been. What's the name of that group? Toxic Influence, or is that the name?
I can't damn remember right now. Should have asked me that 2 minutes in.
Right. So, but okay, we'll just call it. If we're wrong, I apologize. So, Matt Scarfelter, don't be mad at us. We're trying our best here, but we'll just say Toxic Influence. So, they have been. I mean, even though J, B, Fab, and Meechin became a heel group, for the run to WrestleMania. But it's like with this Toxic Influence, they kind of became the top heel trio on SmackDown, as far according to how the fans react, and also according to the storyline.
Right.
So it's kind of, I get that Jade is back, and her whole purpose is to rekindle what she had going on with Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
So I understand that. Plus, I'm pretty sure a lot of people would like to see Jade and Charlotte go at it, which I'm sure they will one day in the near future. So it's very intriguing matchups there. Is the whole
Yeah.
reason why they doing this particular match. But a lot of people kind of felt like the wrong trio is getting that match with Bliss, Charlotte, and Rhea.
Yeah. Yeah. You got a winner? Winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the heels as well, just
Okay.
because I think I definitely could see Charlotte and Bliss having some type of miscommunication, or
Mhm.
maybe Rhea and Charlotte. It's gonna be something where they gonna shoot themselves. The faces, which is Charlotte, Bliss, and Rhea. I feel like it's gonna be some type of
Wow.
treatment or something that's gonna cost them the match.
Right. Yeah, I can dig that. Yeah. All right, let's talk Street Profits versus Division. Now, what do you think is going to be the last one? Because I'm not going to call it the main event, but the last match, the
I
tag match
think
or the title?
I think Penta, because he's the one that's they kind of been showing on all the posters, and like they
Yeah.
really been promoting him.
Okay. Well, let's talk Street Profits and Division. I'll let you kick it off.
Uh, One, it's good to see the Street Profits back.
Mm.
You notice that they got
Angelo
this thing
Dawkins,
with.
hey, boy.
You notice they got this thing with Seth Rollins,
Yeah.
where it's like you notice that Dawkins is to the point where he wants to accept Rollins as the help. Enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Friend, yeah.
But Montez is like, no, we don't need him. We can't even trust him. We don't need him. But of course they lose the numbers game every time because the Vision
Right.
is gonna have the numbers game. So it's obviously gonna come to where they're gonna eventually accept Seth Rollins.
Yeah, no
But
doubt.
does that mean it's gonna be friction between Dawkins and Montez down
Well,
the line?
and see, that's the thing. Like, the tag team division ain't really bumping right now, and you let a couple of them go. As far as the Machine Guns and the White Six, the two guys that did the tag matches between them, and I ain't gonna try to remember their name right now, but so, but
Loomis and
yeah, Loomis and whatever, but
yeah,
yeah, you
Scott
can't
Casey.
okay,
Scott,
God, hey.
yeah.
But yeah, man. So, but I mean, I can see WWE breaking them up because they that's always been their thing. They never let it go too long,
Right.
especially recently. But except for the Usos, and stuff like that. But the tag team division is looking scarce.
New Day's gone.
Right. That's huge. Because then they always in some kind of end of picture somehow. You know what I mean? So. And well, yeah, man. So, but the I like Logan Paul and damn, man, I'm tripping.
Austin Theory.
A-Town down. But no, seriously, I mean I like them. I like the little work they're doing. They're the perfect heels because they act so tough, and then they act like bitches at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's a great heel. Flair could do it so well. He acts so tough, but act so scared at the same time. No. You know what I mean?
Right.
That sound like Noah back in the day. No. And boy, I can't believe Noah ain't in the wrestling business. That joker was trying to go to the ring every time. Noah used to try to break for the ring. Hey man, shout out to Noah Atkins. That's the PO's son. But we used to go to we took Noah about 2 times when he was a little one to the indie shows, and we spent the whole time holding him back. We were trying to break for the ring. He was trying to go to the ring.
He tried to do a run in, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, every match, women's, hardcore, it didn't matter who was in there wrestling. He was trying to be a part of the action. We had to block off the aisle, you know.
Terry Floyd was gonna have to do something to him.
I might have stiffed him a couple of times, you know, with that forearm when he was trying to go. Just to toughen him up. That's all, folks. We not.
And the little boy, the boy, 19, just finished his freshman year at Oglethorpe University.
Yeah, that's big time.
Film production. Man.
Hey, that's what's up. He need to go to NXT.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's funny. But yeah, I like the way they play the heels. They're the the vision itself is weird because you got Bronson Reed who's not there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got Brian Breaker's back. So you got them 3, but they, and them 2 act like, tough, but they get ran off by everybody, get beat up by everybody. So I don't know, man. I ain't the Street Profits, they've been doing their thing. Angelo Dawkins is stupid shape right now, probably in the best shape he ever been in.
Right.
And your boy Montez, he do his thing, but it's just hard. I don't know, man. It's hard for me to take Montez for serious.
Yeah. That's another thing that's debatable. People saying that he potentially will be the HBK of the breakup if and when they break them up. And I mean, yeah, he has potential, but I agree with you. It's hard for me to take him seriously too. I think he's too over the top. I think it seems like when he cut his promos and with his humor, I think he's over the top. Like he's extra to me. He's a hell of an athlete. Him and Logan Paul, and of course there's a few others, but they're very athletic when they get up, which is a great matchup to see them 2 doing frog splashes and all kinds of stuff, because they definitely, will be trying to outdo each other when, far as when they hook up. But I'm with you though, as far as Montez. It's hard for me to take him seriously as well. Like if he was to break out and do his little singles run. So I don't know, man. But as far as the match itself, this particular match, I'm going with the vision.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying. I mean, the Profits may win down the line,
but it's not going to be
I just don't see them winning the first time. I could be wrong. I just don't see them winning this time around. Because also you got to think Seth is still friction there, and maybe they're going to have to get screwed by the numbers game this particular match before they finally be like, okay, Seth, especially Montez. Dawkins already on board, but maybe they need some tomfoolery to happen for Montez to finally be like, all right, we need Seth. What if it's ringside or by our side? I'm sure they may do a 6-man tag on Raw or one of the near future because they're going to get screwed out of the titles during Saturday night's main event.
Yeah. How back on the day you got the cartoon where it had the angel right here and the devil right here telling you what to do and what not to do.
Right.
Yeah. So right now, I want to bring it up, but I don't think I should bring it up, and I don't want to talk about it, but I think we should talk about it. And I say fuck it. Let's just be. This is welcome to wrestling, right?
Right.
And we keep it as just as real as possible, right?
Right.
Okay. You use at first with the new day, and the new day was different because they did weird stuff, but they really embraced it.
Right.
But most black tag teams are over the top with the stereotypes. Okay. Why aren't you using the other side of this? If you're gonna stereotype them anyway, why not use them to the other side and make them superstars? Because I'm gonna tell you like this, and I say I can't take Montez Ford serious. I can't take Dawkins serious either, and I can't take him serious because he's got basketball shorts and a singlet on. There's nothing tough about that. When America, El Grande Americano comes out in his singlet, that he looks tough though, right? When you see Dawkins come out, it looks ridiculous. Am I making sense?
Yeah, he looked like, and I hate to say this, he looked like an indie wrestler.
Right. With some shorts on.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm not saying indie wrestlers, there are some that attire looks great, but he looked like somebody that's at
Just
WA4.
Right. Look like somebody
And shout
just
out
started.
WA4. I'm
Yeah.
not trying to talk bad about WA4, but you know what I mean. There's some of
Yeah.
those startup guys who don't have the money or to get their gear up to par, and they're
Right.
literally wearing some basketball shorts with a damn singlet.
Yeah. Or they just training and get a chance to wrestle.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, hey man, it's hard to take them guys serious. Just like Crime Time. I said this before. Crime Time could have been one of the biggest heel tag teams. They could have been like Harlem Heat. They could have been like Harlem Heat, but you dummy them up. And I don't even say dummy them up, but you stereotype them to, to where you just laughed at them. They were just laughable.
They reminded me of Tay Diggs and Anthony Anderson in Malibu's Most Wanted.
Wow.
I mean, let that marinate. I mean, not to that extreme, but I felt like they were so corny and so fake acting, especially JTG. Like Big
Who could
Shad
really
was
work, man? Who could really
right,
work?
really could. But see, Shad was the quiet muscle. Yeah, he had the personality too,
And
but
R.I.P.
he
Shaq Gaspard, man.
right,
A hero and a
but
dad.
but he was the muscle though, right?
Right. The Timbs with the
JT
jersey on.
JTG was the more to me that was really the over the top one.
Right.
Which he just playing his character now. I ain't trying to shit on JTG. We just
Absolutely
speaking.
not, because he could work.
We just speaking of what we saw and what they was given to work with. But the way it came off was a bad look. That's all we're saying. With the history of how they portray a black tag team in the WWE.
Right. You imagine them coming out to some slow hip hop. Not that, hey, yo, yo, yo. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that did about it was cartoonish. The selling the tickets, the stealing stuff, it was all stereotypes and cartoons. So no, why not give them that hardcore stereotype then? Could you imagine a slow hip hop beat coming out and then walking to the ring? They ain't saying that, looking
and
mean.
they don't give a damn. Yeah, they just like don't give a damn.
Pushing
Yeah,
security guards just cause.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I'll never abiding by any rules. Bro, they could have been the biggest heels ever. I ain't gonna say ever, but they could have really did something with that. Just like they could do with Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. If you're gonna stereotype somebody, because clearly that's what you're doing. And they do it to white wrestlers too, to a certain extent, but not like this. This is almost comical. I mean, it is comical. You know, you coming out there with the cup. You know what I'm saying? Okay, well, black folks drink every single day because you got a red cup every single day. That's what you're saying.
You know, when you think about it, they at one time where it looked like they was trying to change up their character a little bit was when they was running around with Bobby Lashley.
Right.
But even then, that didn't last but so long because Lashley ended up leaving the company. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So, but even then, it was kind of like it was different, but it still was. It looked even then. I guess we were so used to them being silly,
right?
It still didn't come off like they probably wanted it to, you know.
Yeah, because by that then you get typecasted.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like some of the people you never seen work again after they did, you know, different types of movies and stuff or TV shows.
Right.
You know, these guys because nobody wants to hire Screech because all you'll ever be known for is Screech. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nobody's gonna take you serious. And damn, R.I.P. and everybody. R.I.P. to Screech, Dustin Diamond. I can't believe we just talked about Saved by the Bell on Welcome to Wrasslin. We need to get back on topic. But yeah, man, I just don't get it. I don't get why, you know, the stereotyping is kind of to a point. It's kind of, you know, it's offensive anyway, to a certain extent. You know, if you really want to dig into it, but if you're gonna be offensive, you know, why not make money off of it?
Now, I will say this, and I know the whole idea wasn't to go down this road.
Yeah.
And I hear people always say they talk smack about Triple H and his booking and he don't push black wrestlers. Well, I have a hard time with hearing that, especially now, because if that was the narrative, then he sure as hell trying to change it. Because look, he got Obafemi that is getting the biggest pop right now. He got Trick Williams, who entrance is the only person it compares to is Obafemi. You know what I mean? Javon Evans is getting bouncy. You know, so
and your boy
Carmelo, you know, just had a U.S. title reign, a great one at that, with the U.S. Open Challenge, and then Last Legend doing her thing. You know, of course, Bianca and Jade, and so I don't really want to hear that narrative because that's
being represented what more than it ever has been.
Right.
You know, I just have a problem with the way I just don't understand it. I don't understand why this always got to be a comical thing with that. Are they too scared to have, like, I mean, you couldn't have the ECW gangsters out there. You couldn't have New Jack and Mustafa out there, but you could do something close to it. And it would really, I mean, and you could really have a stupid heel run doing it.
I mean,
to
even if you
he-
dial it, even you dial it back and get something more like Doom, or or when Harlem Heat was heels and how
right.
they acted. Again, I know we were talking about something that 30 years ago, but at the
Yeah.
same
But,
time,
but
they
them Harlem
wasn't
Heat promos was saying was over the top too though. But they would go out there and whoop your ass, so they got a pass for being over the top.
right, right. I didn't look at them, and again, I know it's a different era, but I
Yeah.
didn't look at them and saw Crime Time.
Oh hell no, no
You
sir.
know,
Hell no, there's absolutely no comparison.
I mean, I'm not saying that they should go nation domination with it,
Right.
but I just,
I would say this is more of a more attitude street side. If you're gonna
I
do
mean,
the, you know,
the Doctor of Thugonomics, John Cena was more black than you know what I mean? Like, let's be real.
right. But what about Vince McMahon when he was wearing that do rag when he was the ECW champion?
I mean, hell, he became the champion.
And popped off on the end with the N word.
Yeah.
Tell me he just just didn't say that.
Yeah, I can only imagine how Booker T felt when they told him that in the script that was going to be a part of the segment. He probably like, what? We about to shoot this for real, y'all?
Yeah, hold on. And it was it a play on him because he used it? But I mean,
What?
back,
Yeah. When him and Sherry and
and she had the best reaction. She just grabbed him and smiled. You know what I'm saying? Hogan, we coming for you, neighbor. I did say neighbor, folks. That's what my. But yeah, man. Well, listen, bro. You talk about it. This, you know what this episode gonna be called? Off topic.
We got one more match.
Went down a rabbit hole. We brought shovels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Let's go. Ethan Page and Penta, and Penta's on fire, man. He's not gonna lose that title. They're gonna have a hell of a match, and they're gonna introduce Ethan Page to the main roster for sure. Everybody will know who he is after this match. But
ego.
Yeah, but but Penta's gonna go over. He's gonna continue to hold that title, and it's gonna be a major match, a stupid match for him to lose the title. I can't wait to see when that happens, as far as who the opponent is and what kind of match they have. But it ain't gonna be nothing like, it's gonna be a good match though. It'll probably be the best match of the night.
You know what? I definitely don't see Ethan Page winning Saturday, but I could see him
on down the line.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even too far in the distance, since they got multiple competitors going for the title, like Rusev and Javon Evans. You can see maybe it can be some shenanigans.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll end up doing a 4-way. Who knows? But I definitely don't see Penta losing Saturday night's main event.
Right.
Especially since he's pretty much the headliner.
Right.
Even though, I mean, as far as the main event, I hate to call it a whack main event. And again, this could be match of the night on any card. But on paper, this is.
I can see it being the main event of WCW Saturday night.
Well, I'm not saying no. What I'm saying, I'm not saying that it should be a main event. I'm just saying, but on any card, this match could probably
Still the
the
show.
show.
Yeah, it has
You
a
know,
ability. Yeah, it's got enough
yeah,
talent to do so.
right. That's what I'm saying. But on paper, you're not looking at this match and being like, this is the one, like this is the match that's gonna put butts in the seats. But
Yeah, yeah.
you
But
know,
they,
I mean, I don't, you know, I mean, 'cause Ethan Page just got on the main roster, which doesn't mean anything. We saw how Trick and Oba, but it was a different kind of build.
mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So, but Ethan's can work. He can talk. I think he's a decent heel. I see him having a long career, being a good heel. I can see that,
yeah,
but he still don't have the current star power for it to be like a main event that I'm just excited about. Like again,
yeah,
I'm sure they're gonna have a decent match, but this card is definitely, if not the weakest, one of the weakest Saturday night main events since,
yeah,
especially since you saying ever. I mean that's hard to say because they normally have good matches. But I when when it's on Peacock and stuff, I used to watch a lot of old Saturday night main events, and they had some good cards, and they had some nasty ones too.
yeah, some disappointment. Yeah,
Yeah,
I always
so
had it. Yeah, but ain't no headliners on here though.
at all.
Yeah, so that you left
I
the
mean, well, they all, and then the ones they ended 6 women tag, but even then, where they currently placed, and yeah, you got Rhea who champion and Jade,
yeah,
but it's still it's a 6 women tag,
right.
so it's not like it's not like they having a title match or anything like that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man, I think we're both in agreement. Penta's not going to lose that belt. They're going to have a good match, and that'll be the end of it. But who knows, man? Maybe they have a call kind of run-ins, and maybe the NWO comes over and takes over the show. Who knows? They have a couple of surprises. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens, and hopefully they'll make it entertaining as possible. Maybe somebody gets cursed. We don't know. Anything can happen. It's welcome to wrestling. Hey man, just to remind everybody watching to like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget to go to prowrestlingtees.com/welcome to wrestling, man. Pick you up a t-shirt, man. Great quality. How you shipped out in no time and how you looking fly as ever in your welcome to wrestling gear. It's a movement, people. Let's go.
So to help us support the cause.
Absolutely. But yeah, man, so we can keep going and keep going and keep going. Hey, man, I want to say one more thing, and we talking about support the cause and all that. You imagine the people doing those reactions and quitting, and some of them quitting their jobs because they was making so much bread. You know what I'm saying? And now your stuff then got shut down. And one of the guys reacting is starting to react to indie stuff. And bad indie matches and stuff like that. But can you imagine?
I still don't get it. Like, why would they? First of all, how can they shut down a reaction video? I mean, well, obviously they can.
It's their content. They didn't
Yeah,
give
I mean, I get it, but it just
it's gonna be you got to pay for those clips to react to them. That's what they gonna do next.
well,
You can go over there and watch highlights on WWE.com and buy clips. That's what they finna start doing. So you can react to them. That's the only way you can react to them if you buy the clip. Buy the clip.
but we're the fans, and they already nickel and diming us about every damn thing. And, if we're the fan, I mean, I know this won't happen, but what if fans just like boycott? Like WWE sell 50% of the tickets, with these big shows. I mean, I don't see that happening, but what if that did happen? And they'll go in a panic and try to figure something out. You notice that even the way they do commercials, there was a big difference between WrestleMania and Backlash.
Right.
Because the people was complaining.
Yeah.
I mean, they still had commercials, but how they was inserted and the length of them wasn't as many. It wasn't the same. They let the wrestling matches. I mean, because that's why we watching. We want to see the wrestling, not how many times they're going to show the trailer for the Hulk Hogan documentary and Street Fighter coming out in October and Mortal Kombat, and we like to see trailers of movies and stuff. It's just like watching the Super Bowl or any other any other big sporting event. Yeah, we're gonna get commercials. That's all a part of it. But we was really cheated, especially WrestleMania. With, how you got these big build-ups. Liv Morgan, Stephanie used them as an example, and they had like a 6-minute match for the women's world title. Hell, Liv choreographed entrance was longer than the fucking match.
Right.
Which I thought was phenomenal. I didn't get to when we talked about WrestleMania, of course, our reaction to it, our review, I kind of glossed over Liv entrance. And I want to say right now, like the song or not, I thought she did a phenomenal job.
Oh yeah,
the choreographed and her she looked like a fucking star. Like she really did look like one of them pop singers. You could tell she worked hard at her choreograph and everything. So shout out to Liv Morgan on that because she really did look like a superstar when she her WrestleMania entrance.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely. Man, I was gonna say something else. Probably a good thing I forgot, but because we've been rambling on forever.
Yeah. But that's what we do.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Hey man, we appreciate everybody tuning in, everybody that watches, everybody that's thinking about watching, and everybody that watches in the future that might not watch now. Like, comment, subscribe, man. It's Welcome to Wrasslin, man. We'll see y'all next week.
Welcome to Wrasslin.
Welcome to Wrasslin.
Welcome to Wrasslin, Chetty Bobby. Welcome to Wrasslin with Big E and the POT. Podcast tag champs of the whole world, slamming like a DDT. Got it just like a figure four. Hulk Hogan, all they do is flex. Talking wrestling while they get the dough. Off the top like a superplex. Think they letting up? Hell no. Dusty Rose with the elbow. From the corner like a stinging splash. Straight to the face, I know you felt those. Hey, y'all crying out for help though. Rising up like the dead man. About to go upside your head like Stone Cold with the bedpan. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrestling's where you need to be. Chetty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me. Bottom line, if you want the facts, welcome to Wrestling's where you need to be. Chetty Bobby, this show improved like John Cena, you ain't seeing me.